Gerald Govan's path to professional basketball was a lot different than most. After he graduated high school, he never even considered going to college, maybe just working a factory job. However, his high school coach put in a good word for him, and he got a scholarship to St. Mary of the Plains College in 1960. After a solid career there, he was picked in the 11th round of the 1964 NBA draft by the Hawks, but he didn't make the team. After a year playing in Italy, he joined the New Orleans Buccaneers of the brand new ABA in 1967, finally starting his pro career at 26 years old. Gerald wasn't a great offensive player, but he was an elite rebounder and defender. He was also a great passer for his position, even dropping a few triple-doubles in his career. Gerald did all the little things that were necessary to win the game, being nicknamed Go-Go for his relentless energy on the court. Due to his poor eyesight, his thick black frames became something he would be known for on the court. Gerald is one of only 6 players to play in all 9 ABA seasons, making him one of the few ABA originals. His playstyle embodied the word hustle, as he earned the respect of teammates and coaches, as he even made an all-star appearance in 1969. Today's video will go over one of the more underrated players in ABA history. This is PZ Hoops, and welcome to another episode of ABA Tales. Gerald was born January 2nd, 1942 in Jersey City, New Jersey. He played a lot of sports growing up, but at 6'8", it was clear that basketball would be his focus. However, he didn't join the varsity team until he was a junior. His coach, Jerry Demon, really pushed him to work on his game and improve his grades. Gerald has poor eyesight, so he would wear his thick black glasses whenever he played, something that he would be known for later. Gerald had grown to 6'10" by the time he graduated, but he wasn't thinking about going to college. "I just wanted to graduate from high school and get out of here and make some money at some factory job or whatever," he would later say. Jerry asked him to go to the guidance counselor and set up college classes, but she gave Gerald the impression that he wasn't college material. After he heard about this, Jerry stormed into her office and laid into her, and Gerald accepted a scholarship from St. Mary of the Plains College, an NAIA school in Dodge City, Kansas. After setting school records for scoring and rebounding over his varsity career, he declared for the 1964 NBA draft. He was picked by the St. Louis Hawks in the 11th round, but with other forwards like Paul Silas and John Tresvant competing for a spot, Gerald didn't make the team. He would go overseas and play in Italy to improve his game. Gerald got another shot at a pro career when the ABA was created in 1967. Former UNC great Doug Moe had remembered him when they played in Italy, and he called Gerald to come try out for the New Orleans Buccaneers. Gerald impressed the coaches with his rebounding and defense, and he made the team as a backup center behind Red Robbins, as Gerald finally started his career at 26 years old. The Buccaneers had a solid team with Larry Brown, Doug Moe, and Jimmy Jones. They also featured Ron Whidbey, who would punt for the Dallas Cowboys later on. Gerald was solid in his bench role, grabbing 5 points and 10 rebounds in his debut. He had his first double-double on November 6th against Oakland, and would drop 5 more over the course of the season. Gerald said it himself, "I'd like to score more, but I'm convinced I'll never be a great scorer. My big thing is to get the ball." And he definitely got the ball, grabbing double-digit rebounds in 17 games, as his per 36 numbers had him as one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. New Orleans was an extremely talented team, as they sent 4 guys to the All-Star game. They finished at 48-30, the top seed in the Western Division. Gerald had a decent rookie season, averaging 5 points and 7.5 rebounds. He had a small role in the semifinals against Denver, but he did grab 11 rebounds in Game 2. The Bucks won the series in 5 games, facing the Dallas Chaparrals in the division finals. Gerald had a bigger role, and although he shot 37%, he grabbed 11 rebounds a game and dropped 2 double-doubles to help New Orleans make the ABA Finals, facing Connie Hawkins and the Pittsburgh Pipers. He dropped 8 points and 10 rebounds in the Game 1 loss, but he would be buried on the bench the rest of the series, as New Orleans lost in Game 7. Gerald was the backup again in 1968, and his minutes would increase. Larry Brown and Doug Moe were no longer on the team, as they would be replaced by Steve Jones and Ron Franz. Gerald took advantage of his bigger role as he was active offensively, albeit on low efficiency. He was a pretty consistent double-double machine throughout the year, especially in March. He had a breakout performance on March 19th against Minnesota with 14 points and 24 rebounds. He had 17 double-doubles and finished 17th in total rebounds. Both of the Joneses were playing great, while Red Robbins had another all-star year, as the Buccaneers finished 46-32. Gerald averaged 7 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. The semifinals against Dallas was a dogfight that went all the way to 7 games. Gerald was playing pretty well in the series, dropping 18 points and 10 rebounds in the Game 7 win. New Orleans faced the Oakland Oaks in the division finals, but Oakland was the way better team. Gerald played his usual role, but New Orleans was swept. Gerald's play in the playoffs last year was too good to keep on the bench. so Red would slide down to the 4 to let Gerald start at the 5, as this would be the best season of his career. With increased playing time, he was able to show a new part of his game, his passing. He was one of the best outlet passers in the league, as after he got the rebound, he was looking to launch the ball down court to a teammate, sometimes even before his feet touched the ground. November would be an excellent month for Jared, as he was averaging a double-double on career-high efficiency. He even dropped his first career triple-double on November 19th against Pittsburgh, with 17 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists. He almost got another one 10 days later against Washington, with 22 points, 17 rebounds, and 9 assists. Gerald's improvement had caught a lot of people by surprise, as he was selected to his first All-Star game, a game where several players were threatening to boycott after the league refused to recognize the Players Union. Gerald was extremely versatile as a player, dropping 11 20-point games, 2 games with 25 rebounds, and 11 games with at least 5 assists. He was the 4th best rebounder and the 10th best passer, but the Buccaneers are one of the worst shooting teams in the league, making up for it with an elite defense, and they finished 42-42, missing the playoffs. In Gerald's career year, he averaged 13 points, 15 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. The Buccaneers had been a good team in their first 3 seasons, but they never did well financially, especially since their home court was a small gym with only 4,500 seats. The fan interest never really picked back up, so the team would relocate, becoming the Memphis Pros. Sports writers all over the country called it one of the most boring team names in America. Unsurprisingly, the real reason behind the name choice was to save money. The team was reusing their old New Orleans uniforms, and they needed another 4-letter phrase to replace the Bucks on the front. For their first season in Memphis, Will Jones and Wendell Ladner were brought in to bolster the front court. Gerald continued in his role, and he had another solid season. He almost had a triple-double in the season opener, with 8 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. He dropped 15 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists on November 17th against Virginia, as this was one of his 4 triple-doubles this year. The pros really relied on Gerald, as he led the league in minutes, and his impact on defense was great as well, finishing as the league leader in defensive win shares. He was a top 5 rebounder and a top 15 passer, as he even attempted 11 threes this year, only making 1. Wendell had a great rookie season, making the All-Star team, while the Jones boys did their usual work. Their top defense led them to a 41-43 record, as Gerald averaged 9 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists. The pros faced the defending champion Pacers in the semifinals. Gerald dropped 12 points, 20 rebounds, and 6 assists in Game 2, and 6 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists in Game 4, but he shot 34% as the pros were swept. But behind the scenes, the team was a mess, as the new owner quit 2 months into the season, handing the team over to the league. The ABA operated the team on a shoestring budget while they looked for new ownership, but none of the wealthy Memphis residents were interested. But the regular townsfolk would come to the rescue, as 4,000 people bought shares of stock in the team, and they were able to stay in Memphis, as this would be known as the Memphis Miracle. After both of the Jones boys signed to different teams in free agency, the pros needed a new guard, so they picked Johnny Newman from Ole Miss, who averaged 40 points a game as a junior. Gerald continued to play well, grabbing a career-high 26 rebounds in the second game of the season. He had 31 double-doubles and 15 games with at least 5 assists, but front office meddling would ruin this season for Memphis, as on January 3rd, new team president A.W. Hart would make a terrible trade, sending Wendell Ladner, Bobby Warren, and Tom Owens to Carolina for Randy Denton, Warren Davis, and George Lehman. Coach McCarthy wasn't consulted about this trade, so we knew his time with the team wasn't much longer. The fans also hated that Wendell was gone, as he was really popular. Johnny turned out to be a bust, as his attitude had him at odds with Coach McCarthy all the time. He was also a terrible defender, as Larry Miller dropped an ABA record 67 points against him on March 18th. All the drama in Memphis led to them finishing with a 26-58 record. Gerald averaged 9 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists. After McCarthy left and the pros went under league ownership again, Gerald was traded to the Utah Stars for Mervyn Jackson. The Stars were 2 years removed from a title, as Willie Wise was their top player, but Gerald would join Zelmo Beatty in the front court. He helped the team that was already good defensively get even better, as on December 21st against Indiana, he dropped 9 points, 23 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks, followed by 3 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals the next game, then 17 points, 25 rebounds, and 6 assists a week later. He dropped a double-double without points on March 22nd against Virginia with 14 rebounds and 10 assists, then dropped a near triple-double 5 days later with 9 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists, and 2 steals. The Stars were a well-rounded team with 6 players averaging double figures, as they had the best offense and the 3rd best defense, finishing 55-29. Gerald averaged 6 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 3 assists. He played his role against San Diego in the semifinals, as this was an easy sweep for Utah. The Pacers were next, as George averaged 7 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists for the series, but Indiana won in 6. Gerald continued his solid play in 1973, as he had one of his best scoring performances in a while, with 20 points and 10 rebounds on 9 of 11 shooting against Virginia. The next game, he was contributing in all areas, with 12 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. He was slowing down a little bit, but he was still an effective player, even dishing a career-high 12 assists on February 24th against Denver. He was 12th in rebounds and shooting the highest field goal percentage of his career, as Utah continued to be a great team, finishing 51-33. Gerald averaged 7 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists, as he would have the best playoff run of his career. In the semifinals against San Diego, he had 6 points, 21 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 blocks in a Game 1 win. He kept it up in Game 2 with 8 points, 25 rebounds, and 7 assists. He had his hands all over this series, averaging 12 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.5 steals, and 2 blocks over the next 4 games to help Utah win in 6. They faced the almighty Pacers in the division finals, as the Stars almost lost a 3-0 series lead. Gerald came through in Game 7 though, with 12 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals, as Utah was in the finals again, facing Dr. J and the Nets. Gerald grabbed 23 rebounds in Game 4, but that was the only win of the series. He dropped 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks in Game 5, but Utah lost the game and the series. The Stars were a much different team in 1974, as Zelmo Beatty left for the NBA, but he was replaced by 19-year-old Moses Malone, as Gerald served as the mentor for the young center. Former Pacer great Roger Brown had joined the team, but his body was breaking down, while 1967 NBA champion Wally Jones came off the bench. Gerald slid down to the 4 as he had 6 double-doubles and 17 games with at least 5 assists. Ron Boone had a career year, while Moses was dominant as a rookie, leading the league in offensive rebounds. The Stars went through 2 head coaches, but they kept their defensive identity, as their 38-46 record was still enough for the playoffs. Gerald averaged 7 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists, as he had a limited role in their semifinal series against Denver, which they would lose in 6 games. Utah was losing a lot of money, so Gerald was released in the offseason. He signed with the Squires in 1975, but Virginia was falling apart at the seams. Gerald still played well though, dropping 18 points, 22 rebounds, and 3 assists in the season opener. He also dropped 20 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists on November 19th against New York. But in the first 24 games, the Squires were 4-20 and had gone through 3 different head coaches already. In a cost-cutting measure, Gerald was waived on December 15th, and he decided to retire. His last pro season saw him average 6 points, 7 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. After retirement, Gerald returned to Jersey City, where he ran a youth center. He then became a probation officer, holding that job for 25 years, even sometimes working alongside high school coaching legend Bob Hurley Sr. Gerald Govan was a player that didn't mind doing the dirty work. While he wasn't a big scorer, he still filled every other box on the stat sheet. He dominated the glass, played great defense, and was a great passer for his position. Once he earned the starting job in New Orleans, he kept it his whole career with hustle plays and 110% effort. Gerald is one of 6 players to appear at all 9 ABA seasons, as he ranks 3rd all time in rebounds, 12th in assists, 4th in games played, and 3rd in minutes. His stats might not qualify him for the ABA all-time team, but he's definitely one of its more memorable players. Thank you guys, I really appreciate y'all, man. I had always seen Gerald Govan when I was looking through my research. It always intrigues me when I see the bigs and the centers, like the 4s and centers averaging a whole bunch of assists. I'm like, okay, you're getting your double-double, but you're getting 5 assists on top of that? Like, I like the versatility. Then when I finally saw some film, this dude was a monster on the glass. He was a great defender. He was a great shot blocker, especially before they really started counting shot blocks. His outlet passes were insane. He was like a Wes Unseld type of guy, you know, not going to score a whole bunch of points, but going to grab up on the rebounds, going to make some good outlet passes, going to play some good defense. I'm glad I was able to find some film on him because he was such a unique player. And I'm glad I was able to finally get to him. I'm glad I was able to finally get some film on him, you know, because I got a couple requests to do him. And I personally wanted to do Gerald Govan anyway. Thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate y'all. We just hit 3,000 a couple of days ago. I really appreciate y'all. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Turn my post notifications on, but I'm out. Peace.